What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, I am here to review and talk about the latest Alfred Hitchcock collector set. This is Volume 3. Even though it doesn't say Volume 3 anywhere on the packaging, the spine, anywhere. I hate how they do that. I wish Universal would at least put it on the cover. But it's being promoted as that on Blu-ray.com and all the promotional materials. So that's what it is. It's Volume 3, including 5 films directed by the legendary Alfred Hitchcock, all for the first time on 4K. We have Rope, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Torn Curtain, Topaz, and Frenzy, all in this box set. So I'm going to give you all an overview of this box set. We're going to talk about the movies. We're going to do a little bit of an unboxing of the packaging. We're going to talk about the picture quality, of course, the audio, special features, which there was actually a nice surprise with the special features that we'll talk about when we get to it. But before we get into it, all of it, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about physical media on this channel, 4Ks, Blu-rays, only the movies that you love. All that stuff there behind me every single day. So if you like that kind of thing, hit the subscribe button. And also, like the video and then comment down below, guys, which of these is your favorite Hitchcock film? Are you going into this blind? Have you not seen any of these? Are you going to pick up this set? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, one thing I will say, and I want to let you guys know this up front, like this is very important. Right now, currently, this is going for $81.99 on Amazon, but on Groove.com, and I will link the Groove.com link down below, it is $54.99. So an incredible deal for this set on Groove. Do not pick this up on Amazon. I do Amazon affiliate links and all that stuff, but I am not even going to leave my Amazon affiliate link down below. I am leaving that Groove link down below because that is the best deal for you guys. And if you've never used Groove before, you can use a 20% off coupon and maybe get it for like $44. So incredible deal. Definitely go Groove if you're going to pick this up. And I also want to say up front, I watched 3 out of 5 of these films. Torn Curtain and Topaz, I just kind of skimmed to check out the picture quality. I just didn't have time to watch all 5 of these films, guys. And I got tons of stuff coming in for November that I got to review and talk about. And I just kind of wanted to give my overall thoughts on this set of the stuff that I watched. So, but yeah, Torn Curtain and Topaz, I did not watch those in their entirety, but I did watch Rope, The Man Who Knew Too Much, and Frenzy. So let's talk about these movies real quick. The Alfred Hitchcock collector sets. This is Volume 3. I feel like, I don't want to say they've been hit and miss, but the first one was like all straight bangers. Like you couldn't miss with that first box set. You had arguably the 4 most well-known Hitchcock films outside of North by Northwest, which I would say is his 5th most well-known film. But you had The Birds, you had Psycho, you had Vertigo, and you had Rear Window. Like you just don't get any more iconic than that first box set. So it was very hard to follow that up. So Volume 2, had Family Plot, The Trouble with Harry, and, The Saboteur, Beyond the Shadow of a Doubt, or Shadow of a Doubt, I think it's called. That was a good box set. All of those films in that set were very good, and I did enjoy the films in that set. I think I like The Trouble with Harry the best. But what I will say right off the bat with this set right here, I know we're like 3 minutes in, I keep saying right off the bat, but Rope and The Man Who Knew Too Much, I would put like way above all of the films that were in the Alfred Hitchcock Volume 2 set. I loved both of those movies so much, and maybe it has something to do with James Stewart because I'm just becoming such a massive fan of James Stewart as an actor. Like, I know he's an older actor, but I feel like I'm just discovering more and more of his work every single day. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance is one of my favorite films. And he also did Vertigo with Hitchcock as well. But like everything that James Stewart is in, like I'm just all about, and I'm just in it the entire time. I'm so engaged with everything in his performance. So those movies were like destined to become like favorites for me, just because of James Stewart. Now, Rope, I will say though, is just a damn good movie. Like, and I heard some really good things about the movie going into it, and a lot of people were super excited for this set because it had Rope. And I will say it lived up to the hype. It's a very, like, I don't want to say simple premise, but it's a very dark premise. Like the way the movie starts off, it's 2 guys that strangle their classmate with a rope. And the way that they show it it's just so matter of fact. It was just like an everyday activity for them. We're just strangling our friend, then we're going to dump him in this, this crate. And then after you throw your dead classmate or friend in the crate, you invite his family and his friends over for a dinner party. And then you laugh about it and say that you're, performing the perfect murder. It's just a very dark plot. And the lead guy in this movie, there's two lead ones really, but there's only one real one, because the other one's like really messed up after they do it. And like he's just so guilt-ridden all throughout the film. But the other guy just plays it calm and cool, maybe he gets a little bit, irritated when Jimmy Stewart comes over and starts questioning him, but he's so calm and cool and just great. He's a legitimate like psychopath and he just pulls it off to perfection. But yeah, Rope is fantastic, a fantastic film. And the way that it goes into, the morality of what happened by the time you get to the end of it, and the fact that James Stewart, who is their former teacher, kind of taught him the philosophy that led to him murdering his classmate. Just this idea of playing God and being responsible for who gets to live and who doesn't is so incredibly interesting. And it's an idea that doesn't ever go away. It's timeless. And it's a theme that doesn't ever go away. And I just think it resonates still, and it hits so incredibly well by the time you get to the end. But James Stewart, like my only like gripe with Rope and why I wouldn't give it like a perfect 5 out of 5 is that James Stewart's just not in it enough. He's in it for like 20 minutes, but the guy that performs the actual like murder is such a good actor as well. I'm sorry I don't know his name, but he's so good in it. The movie's very short. It's only like 80 minutes. It's just like a dinner party. It's all like in one location, and it's almost like a stage play. And I just love movies like that. So Rope absolutely hit for me. I love the film. The Man Who Knew Too Much was really great as well. I wouldn't put it up as high as Rope, but you got James Stewart again, you got Doris Day, so two powerhouse actors. They're on vacation and they lose their son and they get wrapped up in this like, international assassination plot, and they're looking for their son who's been kidnapped. And that's such a good movie as well. I think it might be a little bit too long. It's kind of feels a little bit drawn out by the time you get to the end, but it's hard to argue with any of the parts of this movie being cut out, because I feel like all of the scenes and moments just lead to something huge and grand by the time you get to the end of this film and you're trying to figure out this plot and who's involved and what role does James Stewart and his wife have to play. And one thing I'll say about The Man Who Knew Too Much is there is a scene that hits so freaking hard, and it's honestly like it's gut-wrenching when it takes place. And I'm like, they played this better than like any movie that I've ever seen that has this kind of plot before. So you have Doris Day, who doesn't know that their son's been kidnapped, but James Stewart's starting to realize that they have took their kid, because it's not something that just happens like all of a sudden. It's something that kind of builds. So when he realizes it, how he has to confront Doris Day's character to tell her that they just took their kid, it's just like, it's so hard to watch, but it's so realistic. And the way that he goes about it is super realistic. I feel like a lot of films, the husband would just take off and try to look for the kid, and then they would just cut the wife out of the plots or something, which I almost thought they were going to do, but they didn't. But because, Doris Day is such an incredible actress back in the day, they really wanted James Stewart and Doris Day to lead the film. So he has to tell her what happened to their kid. And when he does, like, just her reaction is just so real and it's so raw. And I just love that scene. I think it's the strongest scene of the entire film, and how he makes her take the pills to calm her down beforehand to tell her. And I'm just picturing myself in that situation, like how I would tell my wife that somebody kidnapped one of our kids, because it's such a hard thing to talk about and tell your wife. And, you're just anticipating her reaction. But the way she plays it, the way he plays it, I just think that's probably one of the most perfect scenes that I've ever seen in any movie. Hands down. So yeah, The Man Who Knew Too Much is a really, really great film as well. And Torn Curtain Topaz, like I said, I did not check those films out. I think they're both kind of like CIA kind of spy mystery thriller type movies. But I skipped over both of those because the plot to Frenzy sounded a little bit more intriguing. So I did watch Frenzy. I just got done watching Frenzy. It's definitely like a murder mystery where the mystery is not even really there because they kind of show you what happened in the very beginning. But it feels like Hitchcock almost trying to do like an Italian horror film. And I know Italian horror films were starting to get big at this time, but it kind of feels like his take on it, which is kind of funny because Psycho, of course, definitely inspired Blood and Black Lace, which kind of kicked off all of the Italian horror films of the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. So it was almost like him going back and trying to do this like real raw, like murder mystery type movie, detective crime thriller. And it's definitely very dark, but I was also kind of taken with how quirky it was in certain scenes, even though what's happening is extremely gruesome. But there's a moment that I really love. Like there's this ongoing like joke throughout the film where the detective keeps going home to his wife, and his wife's like trying to help him solve the murder while also cooking him this like real exotic food that he wants nothing to do with. So he's always trying to figure out how to get rid of the food and like dump the soup back into the bowl. And I just thought that was a really like fun quirk to the movie. That just really added a lot, at least for me. But all the performances in it are really good. I feel like the fact that they gave away what the movie was like so early on in the film kind of took a little bit away from the suspense, but it's still a really good movie, and I was still pretty intrigued and engaged throughout the film. Not the strongest Hitchcock movie I've ever seen, but it's definitely Hitchcock like trying to do a more, I don't know exactly how to describe it, like dirtier, grittier, like horror film, detective noir mystery. I mean, there's nudity in this film, which Hitchcock didn't really have in any of his movies, because, you know, back then he just wasn't really allowed to have that kind of stuff in the U.S. You know, you had that stuff overseas, but in the U.S., like, you weren't allowed to show nudity and all that kind of stuff until the late 60s, you know, 70s and things. So he has nudity, there's blood, and, you know, it's rated R. So I'd say this is probably one of Hitchcock's most mature movies, at least, you know, as far as the material that's shown throughout the film. But yeah, all the movies though that I watched, I enjoyed. And like I said, the first two, Rope and The Man Who Knew Too Much, I would put above everything that was in the volume 2 of the Hitchcock collection. I thought both of those films were absolutely fantastic. So getting into the picture quality here, Rope and The Man Who Knew Too Much, like Rope was from 1948, and I think The Man Who Knew Too Much is from 1955. Both of those films just looked fantastic. Rope was freaking breathtaking. Like, I love that singular location, but everybody, and I feel like, you know, I popped in the Blu-ray of that and kind of checked out some of the picture quality, the old Blu-ray of Rope. I feel like that was probably the most significant jump in picture quality was Rope. The Blu-ray does not look that great at all. So the 4K of Rope just looks fantastic. And the last, like, you know, sequence of the film where, you know, they're kind of monologuing up there with James Stewart. And I love how the movie like starts off in the daytime, and then, you know, you have that big window, and then you can just see it getting darker and darker and darker until it's night, and then the lights start flashing. You have the green lights and the red lights flashing through the window. Like, Hitchcock loves utilizing like green lights flashing through the windows, I've noticed, but really adds to the visual cinematic quality. And it just looked fantastic in 4K with the green light kind of reflecting off of James Stewart's face when they're kind of going back and forth, and really kind of adds to the intensity of the scene. But I thought picture quality wise, Rope looked fantastic. But I will say The Man Who Knew Too Much is probably the best looking 4K of this set. And I don't even think it's even close, to be honest. Like, The Man Who Knew Too Much kind of blew me away. And a lot of that film is kind of set outside. And I feel like they're in Morocco vacationing. Maybe I'm wrong there. They mentioned Casablanca, but they're not in Casablanca. So it's kind of this Arabian, like, desert type setting. So the scenery is really beautiful and really stands out in the 4K with that HDR, but just some of the up close images of James Stewart. There's this scene where the guy like just first gets stabbed and he's kind of falling towards James Stewart, and he wipes that paint off of his face, the makeup off of his face, and just the detail in his face and James Stewart's face in that sequence was just incredible. And you could just make out everything in the background and the facial detail and the skin tones and everything about The Man Who Knew Too Much as far as the picture quality was just perfect. Like, it's incredible what they're doing with these restorations now. That movie is damn near 70 years old. It is damn near 70 years old, and it looks just as good as a new film that would come on streaming right now. Like, maybe not, you notice it's an older film for sure, but like, damn, it's so sharp and it's just so freaking spectacular. Now, there's still grain there. Like, it still has that very filmic look to it, but damn, The Man Who Knew Too Much was really, really a standout 4K. And, you know, Rope looked great. I'm not saying Rope didn't look great in comparison, but when you look at The Man Who Knew Too Much, it's like, oh my God, like this is just one of the most beautiful 4K restorations that I have ever seen. Frenzy, it's a movie from the 70s, so, you know, it does have that kind of like blander, like raw, more gritty look to it. It's set in the UK, set in London, I believe. So it has that more like dreary, drab kind of look to it. So it still looks really good, but it doesn't really have the opportunities to pop like Rope and The Man Who Knew Too Much did. So, and Torn Curtain and Topaz, like I said, I popped those in. From what I saw, like I saw some opening scenes with Julia Andrews, and facial definition was definitely there, and it was pretty much in line with all the other 4Ks in this set. Both of those films were. So at the end of the day, though, picture quality wise, like I think that all 5 of these are winners. Universal definitely takes the time and puts the care and the energy into these restorations, and it definitely shows with this Alfred Hitchcock Volume 3 set. And getting into the audio, I'm pretty sure you had the original DTS HD Master Audio 2.0 on all these. No audio issues. Everything was in sync. Everything sounded good. So no issues with the audio whatsoever. I thought that they did an excellent job with the audio here. And I actually think The Man Who Knew Too Much was a new audio track. I think they kind of cleaned it up and did some additional work with the audio on that film. I could be wrong, but that's what I got from that special feature that was included here. But getting into a little bit of an unboxing here, I'll go ahead and cut to an unboxing, but you got this nice slip case right here. It's a side loader. You take it out, and I know everybody, a lot of people aren't fans of this kind of envelope digipack setup that we have right here. So we have the same cover right there that represents all 5 of the films on it. Then on the back, you have Hitchcock, which is pretty much the same as all the other sets. You have Hitchcock on the side. There is a digital code in here, and there's a Blu-ray and a 4K for every single film. So this is a 10-disc set, but you open it up right there, and you got Hitchcock, and you get a bunch of quotes, and then turn it. I honestly like these. I like these because you open them up, and you have the classic poster, and you have some cool images from the film. They like to put some quotes up there, which I think is really cool. And keep flipping right there. You have The Man Who Knew Too Much. And I don't know, I like them. I know that it's hard to get the discs out. I'm not going to say it's not hard to get the discs out, and I'd rather have the holders, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I don't think it's the worst way to house these, for sure. And right there on the last page, you have more images and another quote. I just don't hate it. I don't hate it like a lot of people do, because a lot of times when you have these big sets with just like multiple disc holders, it just feels like you have a higher likelihood of damage. Like with those getting damaged, as the bigger they get and the more holders they have, feels like the holders and stuff get damaged throughout the process and the shipping process and handling process and all that. And when you have sets like this, it just feels like it's clean and nothing ever gets damaged. And yeah, I know it's the envelopes, but I don't know. I just, I don't feel like these were too hard to get out either. Like I popped out all these discs to put them in and test them out. So yeah, I don't hate this. I don't hate the packaging at all. So yeah, if you do, I understand. You do have the option to buy all of these individually if you want to do that. They're $19.99 a piece, so it's going to cost you $100 to get all the films versus $55 on Groove. So again, I would recommend getting these together, unless you just want the Rope and The Man Who Knew Too Much, which are both great, excellent films. And but I do recommend Frenzy. I honestly recommend Frenzy. The other two I can't, recommend. So getting into the special features, you have all the same special features that were present before in the Hitchcock collector sets previously. So some good special features, some good making ofs. What I will say though, and I'm not 100% if this is new or not. Let me flip to this page. But The Man Who Knew Too Much, I think, has a new special feature, and it's called Saving The Man Who Knew Too Much, and they kind of go into the restoration process. And now, again, I don't know if this is from the Blu-ray, where they were doing the restoration, but it looked like they were talking about the 4K restoration, and the images that they were showing, it was on the 4K, the images that they were showing kind of reflected that they were talking about the 4K. It looked like the same 4K images that were used in the film. And that's where they also talk about, redoing the sound and stuff and kind of improving the quality of the sound. So I actually think, and this wasn't noted on Blu-ray.com or anything, I actually think that Saving The Man Who Knew Too Much is a brand new special feature for this set. And another reason why I think that is because I did pop in the Blu-ray, and that feature was not on the Blu-ray. It was just on the 4K. So that definitely tells me that I think that is a new feature, talking about the restoration of that film in this set. But maybe that's why it looks the best, because they put the most work into restoring that one. Because they talk about that, how You know, that reel was almost lost and they were just lucky to find the last copy of it to do the restoration. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I think at the end of the day, this is definitely worth $55 on Groove. And again, if you use that 20%, that's $44 on Groove. And this is 5 films on 4K. They all look fantastic. They have special features. There's 2 discs for each film, Blu-ray and 4K, and just a nice collector set that I enjoy. So even at $70, I think I could recommend this. So $55 for sure. Pick this up. Again, use that link down below. I'm not even going to put the Amazon link unless Amazon decides to lower their price. I'm not going to put that link down below. So thank y'all so much for watching my review of the Alfred Hitchcock Collector Set Volume 3. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on those bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.